David had a calling on his life. He had someone on his life. And I tell you, that does not mean anything to Satan until the day and the moment that you begin to fulfill that calling. It means nothing to him that you think you're called to do a great work for God until the day that you begin to do that great work for God. Amen? It doesn't matter to Satan that you're called to do a small, insignificant thing for God until the day you begin to do what you think is that small or insignificant thing to God. And at that moment, suddenly, and I hope this is still here, is there a bullseye on my back?
Yeah.
Now all you with guns and shooters, all you who concealed carry, don't get excited. Okay? I was a little concerned about this move, but I wanted to give you a visual, so I will. Every time I turn around, you're going to see there's a target on my back. Now that target was never on my back before until the day that Jesus made a difference in my life and I stepped out and began to walk by faith. And at that moment, Satan and all his little hellions, whatever you want to call them, his imps and his little demons, they begin to go, ooh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This guy who may have been prayed over when he was little, his mama might have prayed for him, his daddy might have prayed, his grandma probably prayed, his great-grandma may have said some prayers, but he's just been hiding in the ashes. He's been sitting there. We're not worried about him. He hasn't stuck his head up yet. He hasn't come on the radar. But suddenly, when Jesus touches your heart in a very special way, a little bleep on the screen. Bloop, 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 bloop. What's that? Sonar. Satan's radar picks you up. Somebody has just started to follow Jesus for real. And he gets a crowd together. And these Philistines were just that. These people were the known enemy of God and everything God stood for. They were the enemy to God's people. But they didn't mess with David because David wasn't doing anything for God. Oh, he had the calling. Oh, he had the appointment from God. But he hadn't done a thing yet. He hadn't really made that move. It's time we make a move, church. It's time that whatever it is that God wants to do in our life becomes fulfilled, starts to take place. But can I tell you, at that moment, Satan will pick you out. People wonder why. Since I became a Christian, does it seem like I struggle with things, that I battle with things, that all of a sudden I deal with doubt, I contend with things. Some of us, be honest with yourself, we worship at the throne of worry. Worry has us bound. We worry about everything. Our health, our wealth, our whole being, our eternity. We worry about everything. We nearly worship at the throne of worry. For some of us, the cares of this life have choked us out. It's trying to choke the word out. I didn't realize this, but there's over 27 different words in the Hebrew for desire. For the word that was translated desire. They deal with all kinds of things. Some deal in a negative fashion, and they might think of a negative way of thinking of a lust or something like that, or a greed or something. Some are for a good thing, a positive reflection, a positive nature. But I find this, that no matter what, a man is led by his desires. Jesus said it like this: where a man's treasure is, there will his heart be also. Heart. In the Old Testament, the word heart is talking about the mind, which is the seat of thought and intellect. Where a man's treasure is, there will his heart be also. Where a man's treasure is, where his desire is, there would his mind be also. Whatever he values, that will he pursue. And I ask you this. If we're not pursuing Jesus, is Jesus what we treasure?